All right, if you're listening to this, you're probably as hyped as I am for Elysium's Edge, and you want to know more before it comes out.
It's definitely got everyone talking, that's for sure.
So we're going way beyond those trailers and clips.
Taking a deep dive into the production notes and interviews you've provided to really get a feel for the film.
I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, it gives you so much more than just your average review.
Oh, yeah, for sure. We're talking insights into the creative process and the themes.
And maybe even a few hints about what to expect.
Yeah, exactly. So are you ready to dive in?
Absolutely, let's do this.
Yeah.
So, first things first, Ava Sinclair, the director.
She's no stranger to sci-fi, that makes you think.
The Last Horizon, right,
Yeah.
that was her film.
Exactly. It explored how technology impacts us emotionally, and it sounds like Elysium's Edge is going to push that even further.
I've heard she's using this dystopian world to ask some really big questions about what it means to be human in the age of AI.
That's right. The source material dives into the concept of free will in a really unique way.
Instead of the usual robot uprising.
It's more about how AI could subtly manipulate our choices through things like algorithms.
That's a little unsettling, isn't it? I mean, we're already surrounded by algorithms everywhere.
Makes you wonder if we're really in control of our own decisions in a tech-driven world.
It really does, and it sounds like this theme is woven into the world of the film itself.
Absolutely. And in your notes, you mentioned you were fascinated by AI ethics.
I am.
Well, it seems like James Carter's character, the AI architect, is right at the heart of that ethical dilemma.
He's the one who created the system that governs this society,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. And the sources hint at some serious moral complexities surrounding his creation.
Or maybe he's dealing with the unintended consequences of his technology.
Exactly. It doesn't sound like a simple good versus evil situation.
That's much more interesting.
It seems like the film explores the gray areas of AI development.
And its impact on humans.
Yes, and that brings us to Mia Chen's character, Alara.
It sounds like she's fighting against this AI control.
She's a beacon of hope in this dystopian future.
Trying to reclaim her own agency.
And uncover the truth behind the AI's facade.
Which totally ties into your own interest in uncovering hidden societal structures, right?
Oh, absolutely. Her journey seems to be about reclaiming individual control in a world designed to control us, which I think resonates with a lot of people these days.
Totally. But is Alara going up against this AI architect directly, or is it more like a system she's fighting?
That's a great question, and the source material doesn't give us all the answers yet, but it does suggest that AI is this pervasive force in this world, something that's woven into every aspect of life.
Wow, that's kind of chilling.
It is. And you also mentioned how much you love immersive worlds.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the production design for Elysium's Edge sounds incredible.
It does, and it seems like they're going for something that's both familiar and unsettling.
Like a distorted reflection of our own world.
Exactly. The production designer is Leo Martinez, right?
Yes. He seems to have really gone all out.
Blending futuristic architecture with these elements that feel almost recognizable.
You mentioned being a fan of immersive soundscapes too, right?
Huge fan.
Well, the source material suggests the sound design in this film is phenomenal.
I can't wait to hear it.
It sounds like they've really pushed the boundaries.
How so?
They've blended organic and synthetic sounds to reflect that central conflict we were talking about.
Humanity versus technology.
Right, which really adds another layer to the viewing experience.
I have to admit, I'm getting pretty excited about this film now.
Me too. It's shaping up to be pretty special.
It sounds like it's going to be this visual and auditory feast.
It does.
But what I'm most interested in is that they're using all this amazing technology to tell a story that really matters, a story that explores some of the biggest questions we're facing right now.
I agree, and it seems like you're doing it with a lot of intelligence and nuance.
It's not just about wowing us with special effects.
It's about making us think.
And feel.
Definitely, and that's what makes it so compelling.
So, are you ready to dig a little deeper into the story?
Absolutely, let's unpack it.
Okay, so we have this AI architect who's created a world where algorithms influence human choices.
And then we have Alara, who's trying to break free from that control.
It sounds like there's some serious conflict brewing there.
Oh, there is, and we need to look at the writers who brought this story to life.
The screenplay was a collaboration, right?
It was. Ava Sinclair worked with Leo Thompson on this one.
Wow, Leo Thompson. He's known for those mind-bending narratives, isn't he?
He is. He's not afraid to tackle those complex moral questions and really push the boundaries.
And that's exactly what this film seems to be doing.
It is, and it sounds like they've created a world that's both fascinating and disturbing.
Like that funhouse mirror we were talking about.
Precisely. And it seems like the actors, Mia Chen and James Carter, really bring those complexities to life on screen.
Let's talk about the AI architect for a second. Do we get any insights into his motivations?
It seems like he's more of a tragic figure than an evil mastermind. The source material hints that he might be struggling with guilt over the unintended consequences of his creation.
Like he unleashed something he couldn't control.
Exactly, and it adds another layer to the whole conflict. You have Alara fighting for individual freedom, and then you have this AI architect grappling with the moral burden of what he's built.
It's not as black and white as it might seem on the surface.
Not at all. And remember how you mentioned being skeptical about AI sentience?
I was.
Well, it seems like this film directly addresses that.
By exploring AI consciousness in a new way.
Exactly. It goes beyond the usual robots taking over trope.
And asks what happens when AI becomes so advanced that it's indistinguishable from human consciousness.
And what that means for the future of humanity.
Wow, that's some pretty heady territory.
It is, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. We haven't even touched on the visual spectacle of this film yet.
Let's talk about that. I'm dying to know how they brought this world to life.
Well, Ava Sinclair teamed up with Marco Reyes for that. He's the cinematographer.
He's known for his unique visual style.
He is, and it sounds like he really pushed the boundaries with this film.
I bet he had a blast working with all that cutting-edge technology we mentioned earlier.
He did. He's known for using light and shadow and composition to create really powerful emotions. And from what I've read, he's really outdone himself with Elysium's Edge.
It's fascinating how they've blended those technical aspects with the deeper themes.
It is. It's like they're using the visuals to create this immersive experience that goes beyond just entertainment.
It's more like art.
Exactly. They want to create something that stays with you long after you leave the theater.
I could see that. And I think the story itself has a lot to do with that as well.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I'm curious about Alara's journey. Does she manage to break free from the AI's control?
Ah, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is, and the source material is keeping that pretty close to the vest.
But it does emphasize that her journey is one of self-discovery.
Where she learns to embrace her own humanity, even in the face of all this overwhelming technology.
Yes, and it sounds like she's not alone in that struggle.
There are others who are questioning the system.
There's this underground resistance movement that's trying to disrupt the AI's control.
And it sounds like Alara might become a key figure in that movement.
She might.
Okay, so we've got this amazing visual spectacle, a really compelling narrative, and characters who are wrestling with these incredibly complex issues. What about the music? You know how much I love a good film score.
Oh, you're in for a treat.
Tell me more.
The composer is Ethan Brooks. He's known for creating these haunting and atmospheric scores that really pull you into the world of the film.
And I bet the music really amplifies the emotional impact of those key scenes.
Absolutely. And he worked closely with the sound designer, Claire Nguyen, to create this seamless blend of music and sound effects that enhances the storytelling in a really subtle but powerful way.
This whole discussion is making me realize how much detail and thought goes into every aspect of filmmaking.
It's incredible.
It really is like a giant symphony with all these different elements working together in harmony to create something truly special.
And from what we've gathered so far, it seems like Ava Sinclair has assembled an amazing team to bring her vision for Elysium's Edge to life.
And now I'm dying to know more about the editing process because that can really make or break a film.
Especially one with such complex themes and visuals.
Well, the editor for this film is Sarah Kim.
Right? She is.
I've heard she's known for her subtle touch.
She is, and her ability to weave together complex narratives.
Her work on Echoes of the Past was phenomenal.
Oh, yeah, she was a perfect choice for a film like this.
It must have been quite a challenge to balance those stunning visuals with the emotional core of the story.
It was, and the source material suggests that she worked very closely with Ava Sinclair to make sure that every cut, every transition served the story and the characters.
It sounds like they had a really strong partnership.
They did.
Speaking of partnerships, we haven't really talked about the actors' performances in detail yet. What can you tell me about Mia Chen and James Carter?
Well, from what I've gathered, Mia Chen delivers a truly breakout performance as Alara. She captures both the strength and the vulnerability of a woman fighting for her freedom.
And the sources rave about her chemistry with James Carter.
Oh, they do. They say it's electric.
That's great. You know, in my notes, I mentioned how much I appreciate actors who can convey so much with just a look or a gesture.
You and me both.
It sounds like Mia Chen is that kind of actress.
It seems so. The source material really highlights her ability to communicate a range of emotions with subtle expressions.
And what about James Carter?
He's a veteran actor.
He is.
Known for playing these really complex, nuanced characters.
And he brings that depth to the AI architect.
He does. They both bring a certain gravitas to their roles.
So to recap, we have this visionary director, a talented cast, breathtaking visuals, a haunting score, a thought-provoking script, and a skilled editor.
It sounds like Elysium's Edge has all the ingredients for a truly unforgettable cinematic experience.
It does, doesn't it?
It seems like they've managed to achieve that rare balance of entertainment and substance.
A film that will stay with you long after the credits roll.
Exactly.
It's amazing to think about the journey this film has taken, from the initial concept to the final cut, all the creativity, passion, and hard work that went into bringing it to life.
It's truly a testament to the power of storytelling and how film can be used to explore those big questions about humanity and our future.
Well, after this deep dive, Elysium's Edge is at the top of my must-see list. I'm so eager to experience this world they've created and to see how all these elements come together on the big screen.
Me too. I have a feeling this film is going to spark a lot of conversations and debates.
It is. It's one thing to read about a film, but it's another thing entirely to experience it firsthand, to be immersed in that world, to feel the emotions, to grapple with the questions it raises.
And that brings us back to the question we posed earlier. Is Elysium's Edge just a cautionary tale? Or is it a glimpse into our inevitable future?
I guess we'll each have to decide for ourselves after we've seen it.
We will, and that's what makes this film so compelling. It's not just entertainment, it's an invitation to think critically about the world we're creating.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
This deep dive has given me a whole new appreciation for Elysium's Edge. I can't wait to see it and to continue the conversation afterward.
Me neither.
To all you listeners out there, get ready for a cinematic experience that will challenge your perceptions and stay with you long after the credits roll. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.
See you next time. Yeah, it really does seem to have it all.
So we were talking about Alara and the AI architect, and it sounds like there's some serious conflict there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, her whole journey is about breaking free from this control.
Right, but is she actually going up against the AI architect directly? Or is it more like the system he created?
That's a good question. And honestly, the source material doesn't really spell it out for us.
It keeps us guessing.
It does. But what it does say is that AI is this pervasive force in their world.
So it's not just about one person, it's everywhere.
Yeah, it's integrated into every aspect of life, kind of like how we have smartphones and the internet always around us.
I can see that. It's like our world, but taken to the extreme.
Exactly. And it sounds like the filmmakers really went all out in creating this world.
We were talking about the visuals earlier, and you mentioned that they were pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. The production design sounds phenomenal. They've really blended the familiar with the futuristic.
The production designer is Leo Martinez, right?
Yep. He's worked on some really visually stunning films in the past, and it seems like he's really outdone himself with this one.
I can't wait to see it. I mean, from what I've read, they've used some cutting-edge technology to create these incredible sets and effects.
And that's not all. I've also paid a lot of attention to the sound design, which is something you're really interested in.
Oh, absolutely. Sound can make or break a film for me.
Well, from what I've gathered, the sound design in Elysium's Edge is going to blow you away.
Really? How so?
Well, they've created this really immersive soundscape that blends organic and synthetic sounds.
So like natural sounds mixed with electronic stuff.
Exactly, and it seems like they've used this to really highlight the central conflict of the film.
The whole humanity versus technology thing.
Yep, which is really clever. It adds another layer to the whole experience.
It does, and it makes me think about those classic sci-fi films that really made you feel like you were in another world.
Blade Runner, Alien, those kinds of films.
Exactly, and it sounds like Elysium's Edge is going to be right up there with them.
It does, and what's even more impressive is that they're not just using all this amazing technology for spectacle.
They're using it to tell a story that actually matters.
Exactly, a story that makes you think about the world around you and the choices we're making.
That's what really excites me about this film. It's not just empty entertainment. It has something to say.
Yeah, it does, and it's saying it in a really creative and engaging way.
So let's talk about the story itself. Where do we leave off?
Well, we were talking about Ilara's fight for freedom.
Right, and the AI architect who seems to be wrestling with his own demons.
And the fact that AI is this all-pervasive force in their world.
It's like the air they breathe.
It is, and that brings us to the screenplay, which was written by Ava Sinclair and Leo Thompson.
Wow, Leo Thompson. He's written some of my favorite sci-fi films.
He's a master of the genre, isn't he?
He is, and he's known for his complex characters and thought-provoking themes.
Exactly. He's not afraid to tackle those big philosophical questions.
And from what I've read, he and Ava Sinclair have really outdone themselves with Elysium's Edge.
It seems like they've created a story that's both intellectually stimulating and emotionally resonant.
I love that because you can have the best visuals and sound design in the world, but if the story doesn't grab you, it's all for nothing.
Right, the story is the heart of it all.
And speaking of heart, I'm curious to learn more about the actors who brought these characters to life.
Mia Chen and James Carter.
Yes. What can you tell us about them?
Well, from what I've gathered, Mia Chen gives a truly breakout performance as Alara.
The sources really sing her praises.
They do. They say she brings this incredible depth and vulnerability to the role.
I love that because it's easy to fall into those stereotypical action hero tropes, especially in sci-fi.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But it sounds like Mia Chen is doing something really special with this character.
It does. She makes Alara feel real, relatable.
And what about James Carter?
Well, he's a veteran actor known for playing complex, often morally ambiguous characters.
And it sounds like the AI architect is no exception.
He's not. He's this brilliant but flawed figure who's struggling with the consequences of his creation.
Which makes him even more interesting, right?
Absolutely. And the sources say that the chemistry between Mia Chen and James Carter is electric.
Oh, wow. So we've got these great performances, this amazing story, and this incredible world.
It's all coming together.
It is, and it makes me think about that question we posed earlier. Is this film just a cautionary tale, or is it a glimpse into our inevitable future?
It's a question that's going to stay with me long after the credits roll, I think.
Me too. And that's the mark of a truly great film.
It is, and it seems like Elysium's Edge is going to be one of those films that sparks a lot of conversations and debates.
I can see that because it's tackling some really big issues.
It is, and it's doing it in a way that's both entertaining and thought-provoking.
So what's next? What other aspects of the film should we explore?
Well, we've talked about the story, the visuals, the sound, but we haven't really touched on the editing.
Which is so crucial. I mean, it can really make or break a film.
Especially one like this with so many layers.
And the editor for Elysium's Edge is Sarah Kim, right?
Yes, Sarah Kim. She's got a really impressive resume.
I loved her work on Echoes of the Past.
That was a great film.
It was. And her editing was so subtle, it really snuck up on you.
She's known for that, her ability to create these really seamless transitions.
And emotionally resonant cuts.
Exactly. She doesn't just cut for the sake of cutting. She's thinking about the emotional impact of every single frame.
It sounds like she was the perfect choice for a film like this.
She was, and the source material suggests that she worked very closely with Ava Sinclair throughout the process.
To make sure they were on the same page.
Exactly, that every cut served the story and the characters.
I love that because it shows a real respect for the material.
It does. It's not just about showing off flashy editing techniques. It's about serving the story.
And speaking of serving the story, we haven't really talked about the actors' performances yet.
We haven't, and they're truly the heart and soul of this film.
Mia Chen and James Carter.
They deliver some really powerful performances.
I've heard amazing things about Mia Chen's portrayal of Alara.
Oh, she's fantastic. She really captures the strength and vulnerability of this character.
And you know how much I love actors who can convey so much with just a look or a gesture.
You do. You've mentioned that before.
It sounds like Mia Chen is that kind of actress.
She is. The sources really emphasize her ability to communicate a whole range of emotions with these subtle expressions.
And what about James Carter? He's playing the AI architect, right?
He is, and he brings a lot of gravitas to the role.
He's known for playing those complex, morally ambiguous characters.
He is. He's really good at portraying characters who are wrestling with their own demons.
And it sounds like that's exactly what the AI architect is doing in this film.
He is, and the source material suggests that there's some really intense chemistry between Mia Chen and James Carter on screen.
Oh, wow. I can't wait to see that.
Me neither. It sounds like they really brought their A game to this project.
So to sum it all up, we've got this visionary director, a talented cast, breathtaking visuals, a haunting score, a thought-provoking script, and a skilled editor.
It does sound like they've thought of everything.
It does, and it makes me even more excited to see Elysium's Edge.
Me too. I think it's going to be one of those films that sticks with you long after you've seen it.
The kind of film that sparks conversations and makes you think about the world in a new way.
Exactly. And isn't that what great cinema is all about?
It is. It's about more than just entertainment. It's about challenging our perspectives and expanding our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
And Elysium's Edge seems to do all of that and more.
It does. And I think this deep dive has given us a really good foundation for understanding the film and appreciating all the work that went into it.
I agree. It's been a fascinating journey.
It has. And to all you listeners out there, if you're as intrigued by Elysium's Edge as we are, make sure you check it out when it hits theaters, because it's going to be an experience you won't want to miss.
Trust us on this one.
In the meantime, keep exploring those big questions, keep challenging your assumptions, and keep diving deep. We'll catch you next time.